Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I want to talk about today, I want to go through this Twitter thread that I made, and it's about Quant in relation to XRP and the narrative that Quant is a low ROI token because of its high price. It does not have much ROI potential. I've heard this narrative floating around where people would say, why buy Quant? I mean, you can only get X amount with $1,000. You can only get 10 Quant. But if you buy XRP, for example, you can get several thousand of them. Or if you buy this token, you can get thousands of them. So you get more of X token instead of Quant. So why buy Quant? Because the other token will give you a better ROI. So I want to sort of address this narrative, and I do it in this thread. But the reason why I'm making a video out of it is because not everyone actually follows me on Twitter. So I'm going to do it for YouTube as well. So I'm going to go through this thread and I'm going to comment on it as I go through it. So I never get the narrative that Quant is low ROI, but XRP has high ROI potential, because Quant costs more, but XRP is cheaper. This narrative ignores the supply of Quant, its utility within Overledger, as well as the utility of Overledger in relation to XRP. Let's start with the supply. So firstly, I would just like to say that this narrative is extremely shallow, because when you say Quant has low ROI, or you can get less Quant for your money than XRP, for example, it's a shallow narrative, because I could also say you can get more tokens for your money with Shiba Inu, for example, which is also cheaper than XRP. I mean, we don't just talk about the value or the potential value of a crypto simply based on how much you can get with it for your money. There's more factors, it's more nuanced than that. So that's why I said it's shallow. If you're just saying don't buy Quant because you don't get much for your money compared to XRP, you get more for your money. You need to look deeper than that superficial presentation, if that makes sense. So let's start with the supply. Quant has around 14,881,364 tokens, and XRP has 100 billion tokens. Just let that digest. Quant has 14.88 million tokens. XRP has 100 billion tokens. As you can see, there is a significant difference in terms of the supply of Quant and the supply of XRP. Which also makes sense why Quant is higher priced than XRP, because there's a supply difference. This is something that needs to be taken into consideration as well, the supply of the two tokens. So you can't just assume that Quant is low ROI and it's going to have not much growth ahead of it in comparison to XRP, and ignore the fact that Quant has a total supply of 14.88 million tokens and XRP has 100 billion tokens. Even if you look at the world population, for example, I think it's at 8 billion. There's more tokens of XRP than there are people, but there's less tokens of Quant at 14.88 million than there are of millionaires in this world. There's more millionaires in this world than there are of Quant tokens circulating. So the supply of Quant is lower than Bitcoin, and that's another factor. Bitcoin is going to have a total supply of at least 21 million tokens. Yes, some have been lost and some wallets are not accessible, but the same thing applies to Quant. Some Quant tokens are probably not accessible, and also with XRP. But let's just focus on the total supply. Bitcoin has a total supply of 21 million and Quant has a lower supply than Bitcoin. Also, so the supply of Quant is lower than Bitcoin, and the utility of Overledger is more impactful and important than any single DLT network out there. That's also a major factor. You cannot dismiss Quant and ignore the purpose of Overledger and what Overledger is going to do and the role it could potentially play in the future in a world of DLT networks, and how important something like Overledger is going to be in such an environment. You just can't say Quant is low ROI. I'm going to dismiss the fact that it has a 14.88 million supply in comparison to Bitcoin, which has 100 billion. And I'm also going to dismiss its utility within Overledger. Now, let's just quickly look at the Overledger platform. Overledger platform, the enterprise standard for building on blockchain. And that's the thing with Overledger. They're targeting enterprises. They don't really care about us crypto bros, if you know what I mean. Like, yay, I bought Shiba, I'm buying Pepe, all those meme tokens, communities, us retail investors. Overledger is a platform that's literally targeting enterprises, institutions, central banks, and Quant is the key to Overledger. It's the utility token that's going to be used within Overledger. Every aspect of Overledger requires the utility of Quant. So let's go through Overledger. I'm not going to play this video. Actually, you know what? I may just play this video. Why not?
Blockchain is spurring a revolution in the way we create, record, and trade value. Its benefits, security, transparency, efficiency, can be applied to areas as diverse as payments, capital markets, and supply chains. That's why assets of all kinds are being tokenized on blockchains, making their ownership immutable, their provenance traceable, and their use manageable. The potential is enormous, but every blockchain is complex and creates a different walled garden of connections and functionality. Today, the decentralized world of blockchain is made up of closed environments, limiting liquidity and leading to increased risk and lost opportunity. Every digital asset must be created specifically for each chain, demanding dedicated developer skills, which are hard to find, time-consuming to master, and expensive to develop. Overledger platform from Quant establishes a new benchmark for blockchain interoperability and ease of use. As a low-code enterprise-grade platform, Overledger empowers you to deploy, connect, and develop on any blockchain quickly and simply. With Overledger, you can generate an interoperable digital asset with just a few clicks, create secure smart contracts that can execute on any blockchain without having to hire a team of experts. And you can use its advanced APIs to integrate with your systems and manage your assets on multiple chains. We believe that the blockchain economy should be simple, trusted, and future-proof. These are our principles and the genesis of Overledger platform, the enterprise standard for building on blockchain.
So from that video, if you understand it, you would understand that Quant Overledger, the platform, is going to be a no-brainer for enterprises to adopt if they want to get into DLT, if they want to build and have interoperability with different DLT systems, multi-chain applications, you name it. When it comes to enterprises and getting into the space of DLTs, Overledger platform makes the whole process simplified so that it does not require so much developers. It makes it easy for enterprises to build on blockchains. It's going to be a game changer and it's a no-brainer solution for them, in my opinion. What do these enterprises want? They want solutions that are easy to integrate. They want solutions that does not require them to make any changes, any drastic changes on their end. They want something that can just plug into their system. They want something that is simple and simplified, and that's exactly what Overledger offers. And it opens the door for them to enter the world of DLT and build out on DLTs and build multi-chain applications all through Overledger. So it opens the doors to the blockchain economy. I'm just going to skim through this, see how Overledger helped test and enable the future of money. And it did that with Project Rosalind, and that was with the Bank of England. That's a recent thing. One platform, less complexity, more freedom. So it enables Overledger flows. Use our digital asset engines to create your smart tokens and bridges in minutes without any code and on any chain. So if you understand what that is, an enterprise can create a digital asset within minutes, and they can do that without having to worry about coding. Like I said, it makes everything simplified for these enterprises, and they can have bridges to literally any DLT network out there. So their smart token can be bridged to any DLT network out there, and it can work on any chain, and it can be done smoothly and easily for these enterprises. Overledger APIs, you can build multi-chain decentralized applications for the chains of your choice and seamlessly manage your assets without blockchain expertise. Again, when it comes to building dApps, most people, when they choose a decentralized application, they choose a specific network. And if an enterprise is saying, okay, I'm going to build my decentralized application on the Ethereum network, and then they realize that the Ethereum network has limitations, but then they've already committed to building their decentralized application on a network that has limitations, then they're sort of stuck. But with Overledger, they can build a decentralized application that is multi-chain, so it can work on the chain of their choice. They have flexibility. Do you understand how this is very important to an enterprise? And then they can manage their assets, without even having blockchain expertise, all through Overledger. And then they have Quant smart tokens. Now, a smart token, or Quant smart token, a QRC20 token, is basically a token that can be issued on any DLT system. So imagine a CBDC, okay, that's built as a Quant smart token, or is migrated over to a Quant smart token, or a stable coin, that's a Quant smart token, carbon credits, whatever, any digital tokenized asset that's a Quant smart token, okay, it's basically chain agnostic. So you have ERC20 tokens, and ERC20 tokens are basically tokens that's for the Ethereum network. We have XRC20 tokens, which are basically for the Zinfin network. But the difference between those tokens, they're tokens that are specific to their networks, whereas a QRC20 token is chain agnostic. It could work on any of those networks, and it can function on any of those networks. So, and imagine a CBDC that's a QRC20 token. It's chain agnostic. It can function on any network with smart contracts enabling that to happen with superior security. So a QRC20 token is something that is flexible, and it would be more attractive to an enterprise, okay, than building a token that's stuck on a siloed DLT system. With a QRC20 token, you have a token that's not siloed. It can move cross-chain via smart contracts, and it has superior security. Again, as a result of Quant Overledger. So you can't just dismiss Overledger. Overledger secure bridges. It enables enterprises to deploy cross-network bridges, build on the latest security protocols, and take your assets to new levels. So again, it can bridge to any network. It's a perfect solution to interoperability. When we talk about the hub and spoke model, imagine Overledger being a universal hub that can connect enterprises to any spoke out there, and the spokes could be any other DLT system. It enables any to any connection. So you think of any DLT system, whether it's public, private, permissionless, open, decentralized, centralized, whatever, a legacy network, it enables any to any interoperability and connection. Multi-chain availability. We continuously invest in connecting you to more networks, opening new doors and opportunities. And here it has some networks that enables you to connect to, such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, Hyperledger, Bisu, XRP, Polygon, Polkadot, Zinfin, Hyperledger Fabric, and Avalanche. Explore Overledger plans and start building the future. The enterprise standard. And that's another thing about Overledger. When it comes to blockchain standards, okay, they are at the forefront of it. When you look at standardization, which is going to be important when it comes to following certain standards that's going to be needed for interoperability and transferring assets and so on, okay, Overledger is at the forefront of building these standards. They are involved in the process, creating these standards, and so on and so forth. Like I did a video on ISO TC 307, which is all about blockchain standards and covers various aspects of blockchain and DLT systems and standardizing the processes. The same thing with the standard of the SATP standard, known as a Secure Asset Transfer Protocol. How to secure assets in a safe and secure manner. Okay, Overledger is at the forefront of that. And I say Overledger meaning the people behind Overledger, such as Gilbert, who is one of the founders of Overledger. He is at the forefront of that. The Open Digital Asset Protocol standard, he's at the forefront of that. ISO TC 307, he's at the forefront of that. So they understand the importance of standards when it comes to DLT systems, and Overledger is at the forefront of many of these blockchain interoperability standards and DLT standards. So from the team that spearheaded the blockchain ISO standard and created the world's first blockchain agnostic API gateway, Overledger puts technology previously only available to major financial institutions in your hands, empowering you to build for the new economy. ISO, LEADER, IETF. Interoperability is just the start. Create and tokenize your assets on any chain. And I've already discussed this. You can do this with Overledger. You can create an asset and you can tokenize your asset on any chain that's chain agnostic, such as your CBDCs, your NFTs. This can all be done as a result of the QRC20 standard. Our multi-chain smart contracts are coded and maintained by experts and externally validated. This means your assets are secure and fit for multiple blockchains now and in the future. See how tokenization is better with Overledger. See, why would an enterprise want to tokenize on a siloed DLT network when they could use something like Overledger and have flexibility as to where their tokens can move to? Connect your assets to other blockchain networks. Again, you can do this with Overledger via the bridges. With Overledger Bridge Flow, you can easily connect between chains using the latest secure protocols. And they are at the forefront of these secure protocols and standards developed by us in collaboration with the IETF, Internet Engineering Task Force, I think that stands for, and MIT. Create and deploy your bridge once and use it however you like for as long as you need. Launch fast, create value, remain in control. Make the most of blockchain with Overledger's powerful suite of APIs to manage your assets and build multi-chain decentralized applications that can easily add interoperable functions to your system and unlock the true potential of blockchain for your business. So imagine a decentralized application that can be built on multiple chains and is interoperable with multiple chains. This application can basically be built where it takes the best features of any network that you like, because it's possible with Overledger. When you're building your dApp, you can say, okay, I want this feature from that blockchain when it comes to security. I want this feature from that blockchain when it comes to speed for my decentralized app, and this feature for that blockchain when it comes to payments. And it's possible with Overledger to do that when building out your dApps. That's why you can unlock the true potential of blockchain for your business. True to Quant's principles, Overledger is interoperable, chain agnostic, smart contracts, secure network bridges and interoperable APIs. It's secure, externally validated smart contracts, data encryption and the latest secure protocols. And that's another thing as well. Do you think enterprises are going to be using these dodgy bridges that always have hacks, that are security risks made by some unknown developer? Or are they going to be trusting solutions when it comes to bridges made by a company like Quant Overledger, who Gilbert has a history of experience when it comes to cybersecurity and security? Like I said, it's a no-brainer using Overledger. Programmable, superior smart contracts and APIs logic that make the complex simple, easy to use, resilient, adaptable, and so on. So explore Overledger today, no credit card needed, your business your way. And that's basically a brief summary of the Quant Overledger platform. So back to my tweet. What was I saying? The supply of Quant is lower than Bitcoin, and the utility of Overledger, which I just went through, is more impactful and important than any single DLT network out there. Now, do you understand that statement? Why Overledger is more impactful and important than any single DLT network out there? So back to the narrative. 10,000 XRP is equal to 64 Quant at the moment. I made this post 5 hours ago, and at the time, I'm not sure what the market prices are now, but I doubt it's changed much. 10,000 XRP was equal to 64 Quant. Now, remember, the narrative is buy 10,000 XRP, not 64 Quant, because 64 Quant is an ERC20 token with low ROI potential, whereas 10,000 XRP is going to the moon. Now, holding 10,000 XRP puts you in a position where no more than 9,999,999 999 people can ever own more than you. So if you have 10,000 XRP, then it's mathematically impossible, okay, to own 10,000 XRP with the supply being 100 billion for no more than 9.999999 million people to ever own more than you. That's the amount of people that can ever own more than you. 9,999,999. Whereas if you have 64 Quant, which is the same price as 10,000 XRP, it puts you in a position where no more than 232,520.32. Now I have to include the decimal points with Quant, because if I don't include it, then it changes the numbers a lot, because remember the supply of Quant is so small. If the numbers are changed by 5 or 6 of Quant, then that's a lot of Quant. So 232,520.32 thousand people can ever own more than you if you have 64 Quant. And this is based on the supplies of each. So just look at the difference here. 10,000 XRP, look how much people can own more than you. Whereas if you have 64 Quant, only 232,520 people can ever own more than you. Now, 10,000 XRP would mean you own 0.0004001% of the total supply. So if you have 10,000 XRP and the total supply is 100 billion, how much do you own of the total supply? You own 0.00001% of the total supply. And in contrast, owning 64 Quant would mean you own about 0.000431% of the total supply. So as you can see, if you spend that money to buy XRP, not only does 9.9 million people can own more than you, but also out of the total supply, you only have this much of it. Whereas 64 Quant, only 232,520.32 people can own more than you. And out of the total supply, you own much more. It's 3 zeros in comparison to 4 zeros here, 431%, 0.000431% of the total supply. So you own more of the total supply with 64 Quant than you do with 10,000 XRP. So for the same value, you own a greater percentage of the supply with Quant than XRP, even when you look at active accounts on the ledger now. So now we're going to move on to active accounts on the ledger. XRP has currently 4,725,374 million accounts on the ledger, whereas Quant has 140,202 accounts for it on the ledger. And we can quickly just verify this. So XRP, if you look at the accounts, it has 4,725,374. I'm not sure if it's increased since I made this video. 4 million, okay, no, it hasn't increased. And if you look at Quant, okay, the holders so far is 140,247. And, oh look, see, it's increased since I've made this post, 247, 202. Whereas XRP hasn't increased. So as you can see, there is a significantly lower amount of Quant holders when it comes to wallets being created for Quant compared to XRP. Now, XRP has been around since 2013, so it has a 5-year head start over Quant. Quant Overledger, the token, shall I say, came out in 2018 and it's only been out for 5 years. And so far, it only has 140,202. And another thing I would like to say about the amount of wallets that Quant has as of yet and why it could still be so low is because the Overledger platform is not out there being promoted, or should I say the token, Quant, is not out there being promoted for us crypto bros. Unlike XRP, which there seems to be especially when you looked at the Ripple emails that came out during the case, there seems to be a drive whereby they wanted to work with influencers, create speculation. Maybe some influencers were paid to shill XRP, who knows. But speculation with retail was one of their motives. Whereas with Quant Overledger, that doesn't seem to be their motive at all, because we're not the target market for Quant. The target market for Quant is enterprises. It's an enterprise solution. And this goes back to one of the videos I saw Gilbert in, where he was talking about exchanges. He didn't seem really bothered. He was like, yeah, I'd like to get on one major exchange. This was in 2018. And or 2019 when the token just came out. It was the early days of Quant. He was just talking about how he would like to get on one major exchange and he's not really bothered about exchanges because we're not his target market. His target market is enterprises and not us. Whereas with XRP, like you'll see Brad attend the events of the XRP that they host in Vegas, where it's full of XRP influencers and they're all having a good time and they're on stage talking. Like you don't really see Gilbert doing that with the Quant community. He's just out there working with enterprises and trying to help enterprises with their solutions when it comes to DLT systems and teach them how they could benefit from the Quant platform. He's not trying to shield Quant, the token, to us retail holders. So that could be a reason as well why the holder count is still so low. But it doesn't matter because, like me, for example, I found out about Quant. I looked into it. I saw the value proposition within the token and Overledger, and I bought into it. Now, as the price of the token appreciates in value, people start seeing Quant at high 3 digits, 4 digits. What would happen is retail would naturally be interested in what is this token, why is it gaining value, and why is it 3 to 4 digits? Why is it approaching 5 digits? And when that happens, they'll look at the total supply of Quant, they would look at what Quant's all about through Overledger, they'll do their due diligence, and then what happens next is very likely they would want a piece of the pie, so they'll end up creating an account and buying some Quant tokens, and that would push up the holder amount. That's likely to happen organically. And it seems like the price appreciation of Quant would happen organically, and also the growth of account holders would also happen organically with Quant, your token. So this shows that there's a lot of growth potential, that Quant only has 140,202, or a bit more now, 140,247 account holders compared to XRP, which has 4.7 million. So just imagine when Quant eventually has 4.7 million account holders. What is the price likely going to be for Quant? I don't know, but I'm sure it will be more than it is now. So it's clear Quant has the better supply compared to XRP. Also, from the amount of people, the wallets that have been created for Quant, that is still early. And from the tokenomics, you can see that it has a much better supply, 14.88 million compared to 100 billion. But let's look at the demand aspect now. So I'm going to ignore speculative demand for this. And the reason why I said I'm going to ignore speculative demand is because we know when it comes to speculative demand, applying speculative demand to an asset that has low supply, it's just likely going to appreciate that asset so much more and give it much more explosive growth. So I thought, let me ignore speculative demand, which could also happen with XRP as well. But remember, XRP has a much higher supply. XRP already has speculative demand. That's already factored in most cases. It's probably retail that's given XRP the price it is now and not much demand from actual institutions. Whereas with Quant, I'm going to ignore speculative demand because it doesn't have as much speculative demand as XRP, I would say. And if it did, the price would probably be much more. So let's ignore speculative demand altogether and let's just focus on the utility-based demand. So XRP's demand is mostly in ODL via Ripple and as a transaction fee token using the network, which is burnt. So if you're going to use the XRPL network, you need XRP for gas fees or transaction fees, and that small amount is burnt. You can watch my video that I did on Palau, where they're issuing a stable coin in the XRPL, and I talk about transaction fees in that video. And another thing is, when it comes to ODL, okay, that does give XRP demand, but it's really just a buy and sell process. I don't understand why people in the XRP community don't understand this. When you use XRP as a bridge asset, you're converting one currency to XRP, and then within 2 to 3 seconds, you're converting that currency out of XRP back into another currency. So it's like currency A to XRP, XRP to currency B. So XRP is bought and XRP is sold. So if there's buy pressure and sell pressure, then yes, there's going to be demand from the buy pressure, but then there's also going to be sell pressure, which also drops down the price or keeps the price stable as those tokens are sold within the 3-second time frame. And if there's a lot of liquidity, which is what XRP needs if it's going to be a bridge asset, if there's so much liquidity, then we won't even notice the difference in prices. There shouldn't be no volatility in price. If there's so much liquidity, then XRP should be able to be a bridge asset between two tokens without changing the price at all or much. And I'm going to do a video as part of my price series where I'm going to talk about velocity as well. I'm looking to talk more about that because I do think velocity is a factor that's going to potentially prevent XRP from being a high price if XRP is not a token that's made to be scarce as a result of institutions buying it and holding it. And that's just a whole nother topic in and of itself, whether institutions are going to buy and hold XRP, whether it's too risky for them, whether it's too volatile for them, whether they need to buy and hold it, whether they need to hold XRP to begin with to adopt ODL. I mean, this is so nuanced, but anyways, not part of this video. So Quant's demand is mostly in being the key and utility token of Overledger, which will be super necessary, and I've explained why in the grand scheme of things. So that's the differences between the demand. XRP's demand is mostly in ODL via Ripple and as a gas token. Quant is also a gas token within Overledger, and it is also going to be the key and the utility token of Overledger, which will be a very needed and necessary platform that will be used by enterprises, in my opinion, in the grand scheme of things. Now, let's just look at scarcity. When it comes to lockups, apart from Ripple's escrow of their holdings, the everyday utility of XRP doesn't lock up tokens. So I think we can see here, so far there's 41,506,069,362 tokens that are in escrow. I mean, it changes. Sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more, depending on whether Ripple buys XRP off the open market and puts it in escrow or not. And also every month, Ripple sells or Ripple releases 1 billion XRP from escrow, and they do as they please with it. And then what's remaining, they put it back in escrow. And escrow is basically locking up the tokens. And so far, there's 58.4 billion XRP in circulation. So apart from Ripple's escrow of their holdings, the everyday utility of XRP, using it as a gas fee token which just burned the supply, but in small amounts, or using XRP in ODL, which is the main utility as a bridge asset. Okay, none of that locks the tokens. However, with Overledger, the Quant token is locked up in yearly smart contracts. So when a developer wants to use Overledger or an enterprise wants to use Overledger, they have to pay license fees. And these license fees can be paid in fiat currency, and this just makes it easy for developers and enterprises to onboard into Overledger without creating friction by telling them they have to go to an exchange and buy Quant and so on and so forth. If that was the process, then nobody would probably be adopting Overledger, because the whole idea is to make it simplified for them. So when they pay with their fiat, the license fees, and they also need credits to use Overledger, and everything basically is priced in Quant. So they pay for whatever they need to buy, the license fees, credits, okay, and they buy it in fiat. The treasury now, the Overledger treasury or the Quant treasury, deals with that transaction and buys Quant with it and locks it up for a year in a smart contract. Supply of Quant is low as it is, plus the demand for, or the increased utility of Overledger and increased adoption of Overledger would lead to more Quant tokens being locked up as a result of fees paid by devs and enterprises to use Overledger, and that would lead to scarcity in the supply as well, because tokens are locked up. And then in the future, there's going to be gateways, which enables connection into Overledger. So the more gateways there are, the more easier it is to connect to Overledger around the world, especially if there's lots of gateways being hosted. But to host these gateways, it would require you to also lock up the Quant token. And when this happens, it would further create lockups for the Quant token, and the people that are running, or the entities that are running these gateways, would be rewarded as a result of the amount of volume that's running through their gateways. So they'll get a fee from the volume that's running through their gateways, but they would also have to lock up the Quant token. And this would also, like I said, this would also require the Quant token being locked up too. So as you can see, the utility of Quant and the utility of XRP is really different. Quant is a utility token for Overledger, and there's many aspects that require Quant to be locked up, which is going to create scarcity of the token, which is already very scarce because of its low supply anyways. And this is not including speculative demand as well. And the XRP token, which has a much higher supply, the only lockups it has is from Ripple's escrow, and then it has transaction fee burning, which is very small. Apart from that, anything in regards to using XRP as a bridge asset does not involve any lockups. So the tokenomics, the supply and utility of Quant and XRP are very different. Now, with that being said, is Quant really a low ROI token that is overpriced compared to XRP? Think about it. The supply difference, the tokenomics, the utility difference, the fact that owning 64 Quant means much less people can own more Quant than you compared to XRP. Also, the fact that owning 64 Quant means you own a greater percentage of the overall supply compared to owning 10,000 XRP, even though 10,000 XRP equals 64 Quant. So with all that being said, all that I've stated, is the ROI for Quant really low and it's going to have no future potential? It's overpriced compared to XRP, which is so undervalued, and it's going to have magnificent ROI and future potential? Is that the case? Or are people being fooled by the fact that for £5,256 you get 10,000 XRP and just 64 Quant? Because I think there's a possibility that people are looking at 10,000 XRP, the numbers, 10,000 and 64, and it's a psychological thing. 10,000 is more than 64, right? I mean, would you want 10,000 or something, or 64 or something? 10,000 just seems much more significant than 64. So it could be a psychological thing where people think having 10,000 XRP is better than having 64 tokens. But that's why I said it's very shallow and superficial, and it's much more nuanced than that. But when you actually dig deep, you begin to realize actually owning 64 Quant tokens is a better deal than owning 10,000 XRP because of the reasons I've explained above. But with that logic, let's just say the people that think, no, 10,000 is much more better than having 64 tokens. So if that's the shallow logic we're judging this by, and we're going to ignore tokenomics, we're going to ignore supply, we're going to ignore utility, we're going to ignore future potential of both tokens and so on. Okay, if that's the logic we're going by, just that 10,000 is better than 64, then buying 5.46 billion Pepe, is it PP? Pepe? I don't even know. Okay, would be the best buy. Because with £5,256, you can get 5.46 billion Pepe tokens, and that is much more greater than having 10,000 XRP, also much more greater than having 64 tokens. So if you're going by the higher amount, then you should just buy 5.46 billion Pepe tokens. And with that being said, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the bell notification icon so as to not miss my next video.